Hi, Christian.
Hi, hi Christian, and hi everyone. Thank you for joining us on our 10th and finally podcast in this season. Today we have a very interesting topic with a great guest. So let us start, but first of all, let us remind you about your hosts. So I am Alexander Moskalyuk. I have more than 20 years in IT and certified business analyst and in different certifications. And as always, Rainer helps me to go on with these podcasts. Rainer, could you please tell us a few words about yourself, or you're frozen again?
Yes. Hello, everybody. So I'm owner of Germany and from
I'm really sorry, we have some technical interruptions.
It says Reiner's network bandwidth is low.
Yes, but we should wait for him. A few minutes, at least.
Oh, it seems we lost him.
Lost him. Anyway, Rainer is also very experienced business analyst, certified with different certifications, and he is the owner and the host of coming European BA Day. So this year, in next week, it will be fifth version, fifth edition. This time it will be only online. And previously it was offline events, and you can see a lot of happy people joining previous European Bay Day. But this time we will have a lot of guests and a lot of speakers from different countries from all over the world. And we hope that every one of you will join us during this coming conference. And Carolina, our guest, will be speaking there as well during this conference. Our sponsors are Masventa and IBO. Both it's consulting companies that help people to they are consulting companies that help business analysts to improve their knowledge and their get their certifications in different areas. And back to Carolina. Carolina, please tell us a few words about yourself.
Okay, it's not necessarily surprising, but I am BA. I'm business analyst since some time, and what I think is interesting is that I have a testing background. So for me, it was a very valuable experience because first I learned how to break things, and now I am learning how to create things. So using this breaking experience, you can really create better things because you know which problems, which defects to avoid. Yeah. So I really value my testing experience. Now I am mostly in business analysis, in process management, sometimes in project management. I also have some certification, but I am rather on IREP side. I am rather in the area of requirements engineering, which is a part of business analysis, as you perfectly know. So this competency is very, very useful in our job. And I think that's it.
Okay, so today we will talk about how to talk to business about business analysis and IT. And what do you think from your side? Is it clear for business who are the BAs, what are they doing, and what value they can bring?
Sorry that I am laughing, but yeah, the first answer, the obvious answer, it depends. The second answer, really, it depends. Depends on the organization and the maturity. But my personal experience is that very often so-called business stakeholders, they know this word, this business analyst something, and they have no clue what this person is talking about and what he or she is doing about. Like there is a BA and he used to write user stories. We don't know what is user story about, and he is coming to us asking questions, and we don't know why. Yeah, so quite often this is the level of awareness of business people. And you know what is quite funny? I am perfectly fine with that. Absolutely, because they are people from the business. They don't necessarily need to know all our roles, competencies, and so on. They have a right to don't know that things, yeah? And according to me, that would be also a competency of business analysts to create the awareness that not only we are BA in the organization, but what we are actually doing. What are our responsibilities, what we expect from others, what others can expect from us. And that's all very often missing. Like we are just entering the project, the organization, and we expect that everyone knows what we are, what our role is, what we want from them, what they can want from us. Yeah. So for me, this is one of the most popular, most common issues that I can observe in different projects and organizations, that there are no awareness.
Oh, we have Rainer back. Rainer, what do you think?
Yes.
What business people think about BAs?
So first of all, I think the business people, they don't think generally about BAs. They think about human beings. So if you approach them, then they think about you, and they think about how trustworthy you are, and how much they can trust you, and how well you can listen to them. So if they have initially if you can build up an initial good atmosphere, and they see and they feel that you are genuinely listening to them, then they feel comfortable. And this is the most important thing. If you finally have on your business card business analyst or application analyst or requirements engineer or whatsoever, that is a secondary thing. The primary thing is that they can talk with people about their challenges, about their goals they have, about solutions they probably have in mind, and that they sit with a person, with a let's say colleague who really wants to help them and who wants to take over their thoughts, and who is kind of passionate about understanding the backgrounds and things like that. And this is much more important than all the other things which describe roles or things like that.
Yeah, totally agree.
Agree. And Rainer, you said something very important, that what is important is to be able to listen. And I also think that one of the, let me call it, problems that we have with business people is that unfortunately we are not listening to them. We are coming, asking questions without context. So they don't understand why we are asking this question, because very often we are starting from some point. Yeah, we know, for example, that we are about to run a project. The project goal is something, whatever, it doesn't matter really. And we are coming to business people asking question with the context here. They don't know what is the reason of this question. They very often they don't understand how my question refer to their business problem. Yeah. And it's not about listening. It's not about communication in this situation. We cannot communicate efficiently in this way. Yeah. So I would completely agree with you, Rainer, that listening is something very important. Without listening, we will not help them. And this is about creating solutions that will actually solve their problems, meet their needs.
Yeah, and what I would like to add furthermore is that especially the Germans, they are known for not talking about this and that, about the weather or even icebreakers. They just want to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's the German style. And if you approach other people and fire the questions you have probably prepared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the people, they feel a bit of oh, what's coming, who's coming, what do they want? And as I'm aware of, let's say, my German style, I can work with it, and I'm trying to if I'm approaching people, I'm trying to start with open questions first, meaning give them the opportunity to tell them something about their environment, their pain points, etc., etc. And once you have warmed up, sometimes it takes only 5 minutes or so. then you can fire those questions which you have prepared, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But please don't enter a meeting and say, hello, I'm Rainer and I have 5 questions. This is the wrong style. Yeah.
Yeah. What I also would like to add to this, for me personally, asking question is a thing that I am not doing at the very beginning, because with no context, with no information about stakeholders, including business, I don't know which question will be actually relevant. Yeah. So for me, the first step is something that is quite well defined, is actually stakeholder identification and analysis, including building stakeholder engagement. Like learning a little bit about those people. Like, are they German? Perfect. Are they from working in automotive? Whatever. Gathering some information about them, about their working environment, so that I have a starting point. And this is also, from my observation, also missing. We have no clue what are the people who I intend to talk about, and I am starting asking questions. Asking questions very often about things that are a kind of obvious for them or are not obvious at all. And I am asking questions with some background in my head. They don't know what I am talking about. Like the standard question, sorry, it would be a kind of, well, not really political correct, but a standard question of junior BA that has not really good competency. Alexandre, you are a stakeholder right now, okay? You will be our example. I am reaching Alexandre and I am asking question, Alexandre, what requirements do you have? What?
What are you talking about? What requirements?
Excuse me, this is not BA job. Yeah, I mean, okay, asking about requirements, that is, of course, our job, but this is not the style of communication. This is not the approach, the attitude. First, you need to understand the stakeholders. You need to understand, sorry for wording, who is important, who is not so important. Because sometimes, if you don't have this information, you are starting asking the wrong people. And you are ignoring the relevant people, because you don't even know that they are relevant, which causes a lot of conflicts. Like, I started agreeing requirements with Alexandre, and I completely forgot that, oh my God, Rainer is in charge, actually, because he's the boss. And I agreed something with Alexandre, then I am reaching Rainer, I am asking about something, and it appears that he's telling things that are completely in conflict with what Alexandre said. And how should I deal with the situation? If I have no clue who are stakeholders, what is their position, what are their expectations, what are the communication styles? So for me, just to summarize, for me, the first step with working with stakeholders, with business stakeholders, is to prepare for this working. Do something that is, I know it's not sexy, but people, let's do the stakeholder identification analysis. This is precondition. This is as simple as it sounds. That's the precondition for efficient work.
Very well said. Very well said. So the Babok teaches us that there are 3 steps if you go for elicitation. First is prepare, then conduct, and then confirm. So prepare, conduct, confirm. This 3-fold steps in the knowledge area elicitation and collaboration sounds that simple. So it's in requirements engineering. It's the same. So everybody says, what is this? This is let's say very let's say non-valuable knowledge in the Babok. But if you read precisely, then you see that if you prepare for an elicitation for an interview, for example, then you need to know something about your stakeholders. And what you really pointed out very well is that it is not in us to look into this stakeholder register and to see first name, last name, who is reporting to whom and things like that. No, you have to talk to other people who know this stakeholder, and you have to try to find out, is this stakeholder helping us? Is he pulling the brake? Does he have a hidden agenda? Normally, you cannot find this information in an Excel, which is on the SharePoint, of course, because this is kind of poison. It needs to be in a closed cupboard somewhere. But they are so valuable, these informations, and I have a habit in the last year. So when I'm meeting important stakeholders the first time, then I'm trying to get information about them which are not on the SharePoint, which are kind of let's say opinions or tips and tricks and experiences. So all this soft stuff which you can only figure out if you speak to colleagues or to trusted people. So normally if you are a fresh BA in a new project, and there are already existing people, and there are people who help you, who are onboarding you, and with those people you should speak about the important stakeholders before you meet them the first time, because the first meeting is the most important meeting.
Yeah. In my experience, in my project, I typically do something like a kind of kickoff meeting with stakeholders, so that we have a chance to meet each other, to talk to, and what is very important, and again, often missing, to start managing expectations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which includes explaining to them very clearly what is my job here, what is my role, what I am going to do, what procedures, whatever they can expect by step, because this is also for me a part of building engagement. People who don't know what is going on will not be engaged. They will not feel safe. So this is my role, to explain to them how I am going to proceed with specific business analysis project, whatever the project is. I am going to make it very clear what is my role, what I want from them, what they can expect from me, what are deliverables that I am going to do, to provide, what will be the form of the deliverables, how they will validate, how they will expect. And at the very beginning, we start express expectations. That is quite nicely explained in BCS stakeholder engagement syllabi, another certification. Yeah, that is pointing the very important aspect of this stakeholder engagement, including building rapport and building proper interaction and expectation management. What's also is working for me, apart from the transparency and explaining what are we doing, is also help people with expressing their needs. And I think that, by the way, I will answer Max's question that is written on the chat. Like, are we going to teach business representatives to explain themselves in IT accepted formats? Really? So I am going to force business people to write things, to express things in the language that I am familiar with? Sorry, but from my perspective, no. Of course, there are some exceptions, but generally speaking, no. They are business people. They have competency in business, right? Development team, they have another competency. My role is a kind of to bridge these two worlds, to facilitate communication. I will not ask business people to, I'm simplifying right now, to write requirements in developer-friendly way, because this is not their responsibility. Their responsibility to make clear what they need from the business perspective. My role is to help them express this need, because sometimes they are also struggling with them. My role is to help them to validate the business needs, to prioritize, because we are not going to implement everything because of restricted capability of an organization, for example. That's my role. Their role is to know how to change the business. The solution team role is to be able to provide solutions that will actually satisfy specific business needs. Yeah, that is my personal point of view. And now I am happy to discuss if you disagree, for example.
I totally support, because first of all, we used to do the same technique. We just presented all team roles and what tasks and what artifacts we will prepare and why, and how we will use it during the project, and it helped a lot. Because clients, we understand what to expect. What we are doing, why all these people just came to this meeting, and will start asking questions. And the other thing, totally support, because they pay us money. So if they were able to express their requirements in user stories and UI and
If they would
mockups,
need what
etc.,
they want, we are
yeah.
useless. Yeah.
Why would they pay us?
Yeah. So I have a real life story which I've experienced a couple of years ago. I was a project manager and I had three business analysts, and we had a feasibility project, a pre-project, which was running for 3 months after a big one, a 1-year project was kicked off. It was a workflow system in the energy industry about new product approval, meaning new commodities which would then be traded by the energy trader. And I had three BAs, and there was a lady. She was well connected, super networking in the whole company. There was a quite let's say autistic specialist on BPMN and things like that. And there was another guy who was a kind of generalist. And then when we got the budget for this feasibility study, I said to them, "Hey, you know what? Sit down for a day, stop working, and plan your business analysis." And this is again something which is from the Babok. Huh? So plan. Where do you store information? How do you approach the stakeholders? Who is eligible to change the priorities of the requirements? Are you working with a product owner? Who is prioritizing on behalf of business? What models are you using? How do you visualize? What tools are you using? And I said, just put it on a 1-pager or 2-pager. And finally, after a day, they came back to me and said, "Hey, we have put together 3 pages, and there is the most important essence of what we are going to do." And I said, "Wow, this is great." So, and I asked him, "Hey, you know what? What do you think about sharing this with the business?" And then we took this 3 pages, we polished it a bit, and then we shared it with the business and said, "Hey, business, this is what we are going to do the next week. Next weeks, we are trying to do business analysis to find out the best approach for the upcoming bigger project. Please help us and support us. And if you think we should change in our way of working, let us know beforehand so then we can adapt." And this was a great success because they were welcomed by the people. Then they just approached the business, and nobody of the business people were surprised or even let's say hesitant. They were kind of welcoming the BAs because they said, "Yeah, we have read your mail. We know what you're doing. Come here, take a seat, and let's talk." And that was a kind of really good experience I've made. For me, it just point my way of working for the coming years then.
Yeah, because they probably they didn't feel surprised. They didn't feel unsafe because they just were running in a project with some people who are doing something and they don't know what actually could be the outcome of these activities. So I totally agree. Planning is the first step. However, I also I have a feeling that people often think that planning is passé. It's not agile. It's not sexy. It's not fancy.
Yeah.
But guys, without planning, how you are going really to reach the goal if you don't plan the goal, if you don't know where are you going and what are the means to this goal? And afterwards, we're complaining, "Oh my gosh, this agile is so bad because we are not succeeded." Really, is it about agile or is it about house?
Yeah, that is sometimes the reason why the Babok has a kind of bad or questionable reputation among the agile people. They say, "Oh, agile is not very prominent in the Babok. They only have an extension, agile extension." And what the Babok says is not agile at all. And this is not true. So you can be very agile and you can be very Babokish at the same time. So there is no contradiction in it. And so I'm always teaching this in my courses that that what the Babok says is mostly generic. And even if you are working as a product owner and not as a BA, I mean, it's very much overlapping what you are doing as a product owner. Then you can take the Babok and you can get so so much help from the BAWOG. Of course, you need to have other sources of knowledge as well. What I wanted to add to my story, which I was giving before, is there was one side effect which was fantastic, because the three people, they haven't worked together before, and this exercise, sitting together and talking and planning one day about how do we work, it just accelerated this Tuckman cycle. So storming, norming, that was always that was already done. After a few days, they entered the performing phase, because they had a nice start. There was no let's say nothing of hiding things and I'm trying to be the boss of the BA group and things like that. No, they just had a very open attitude from the very first beginning, which was a kind of initiated. I've given them this this first guidance or governance, and they took it, and this is a spirit when you are doing such a kickoff of BA, and I think the spirit is very important.
And yeah, and the discussion point: how do you deal with business stakeholders that are not very used to plan their own day and operations, or they just in the mood of fighting with fires and solving the crises all the time?
You mean about the time crisis? How
No,
how to
I'm
deal with
how to deal with stakeholders that are changing the priorities and plans always, so they don't have their own plans. It's
Okay,
can be
so wow, that's a deep topic, because if they don't have the old plans, then I would ask a question, then what is the basis of the decisions that you are taking? Because if there is no plan, no strategy behind, no linkage to the strategic level organization, then why we are even talking about given business need or initiative? If you don't have a plan, that means, sorry, probably you have no clue what you are doing. So here we can use plenty techniques that are basically related with the root cause analysis, like the very famous technique 5 whys. Yeah, we can just ask question. If you are changing your priorities, if you don't have your plan, then maybe we need to do something like a reset and stop running into project activities and operation, and try to understand what problems we are solving. Because if you will understand the problem, you will understand the problem in the organizational context, then sorry, but your priorities will be clear. The only problem is that what I am noticing very often, that business people, no offense, but they are not always talking to each other. Like, I am Christian, I have my big business problem. This business problem and solution affects Rainer, but Christian doesn't care about Rainer. Rainer is another department, who cares? Yeah. So they are not talking to each other. And this is not about bad will. Yeah, this is about they don't have the awareness that the change in given business process, given the department, may impact another departments. And imagine a
They have a
situation
tunnel view, kind of.
Yeah.
They're looking
That
into
is,
a tunnel.
from my personal point of view, we need to apply a kind of system thinking. Organization is a system of connected things. If you are touching one thing, it is impacting another things. And if I see a history like you are referring to, Alexander, that business people are changing priorities or requirements, oh, really? What is the reason of that? Probably they don't. Maybe it could be that the business problem is not properly defined. Maybe the problem is that it is properly defined, but not analyzed. And then they have no clue that my problem affects another people. During the project, these hidden stakeholders suddenly appear. Like Christian is coming and, hey, you are touching my process, which means that they will need to change priorities requirements.
Yeah, very good point, Caroline. So what I'm trying to do is if I see that stakeholders are jumping around and switching their priorities several times a day and things like that, I try to build a kind of trusted relationship, and I ask them, what is your pain? Tell me your pain. And of
Mhm.
course, they mostly will tell their pain in their tunnel, in their business unit, and they are very
Yes.
focused. They want you to help them to get the thing solved. So install me a solution ABC, and then please quickly. I would like to have it next Monday or something. And
Mhm.
so if you bring them into a situation that they really talk about their pain point or pain or gain, depends on in which situation they are, then you can try to extend their view and ask them, hey, have you ever thought about Christian's pain or Alexander's pain? So maybe
Mhm.
we can do something which is good for her, for him, and for us. So isn't it something which needs to be which needs to pay on the strategy, on the pains of the company, things like that, and then probably you can achieve that they open up their mind. Sorry,
You know
Christian, you
what's
wanted to
working
say
for me?
something.
Oh, thank you. I recognize what Carolina is saying, because one day I was working in a large company and there were two departments who didn't talk to each other. And so I was walking often from one department to another, asking a question and bringing back the answer. And I
Mhm.
was thinking, did I really study so long to be doing this? I'm wearing a rut in the carpet. But there was no other thing. Our mission was
Mhm.
to get things done. So you have to work with what there is. I was thinking of something else. I was working in a large company and we had a method. And the method said that you had to look at 6 aspects: process, organization, location, data, application, and technology. And the book
Mhm.
more or less implied that you had to start talking to people about their business process. I never ever do that because the users that I work with, they don't know the concept of business process. So I
Mhm.
start with data. And to me, that's very important because I start asking questions about the data that they work with, the data which is on their screen, and that has 2 advantages. They understand the question and they understand why I'm asking the question. And I don't think it's good when a consultant walks in and starts talking about business process.
Mhm.
And what I want to add, that it's much easier when you have one separate project. So you have some boundaries, you have some scope, and there is a goal, yeah, in this. But if you're talking about implementation or automation, some operational activities,
Mhm.
it's always some interconnection between different departments, different goals, and very often when you start using this 5 why or trying to understand the root cause analysis, you understand that the problem is in management, because it's not
Mhm.
properly managed, and you can't just go there and say, guys, yeah, I understand that you are president of this multi-million company, but you are doing this wrong. Yeah, it won't work. Yeah, so you should just somehow educate them and try to hold them, yeah, in the scope and in some plan. Yeah, help them to build this plan very often.
You know what's working for me from the very, very beginning? Let's imagine that some business people are coming with an idea that we would like to change something. That's just a pure idea. The first step would be to do something like an initial evaluating of the idea. And this is something that also business is not aware. They often think that we have an idea, IT, do it. Not really. Yeah, we have an idea. We need to evaluate the idea. Probably the most important thing is to do a kind of impact analysis. Your idea will affect several operation processes, departments, stakeholders, and so on. On that basis, we can do a very, very roughly estimation of the effect. We also can compare priority of this idea. The priority, I mean, comparing the business value and the cost, the estimated cost or effort or complexity, whatever, and we can prioritize the idea. Then at the very initial step, we are not talking about any project yet. At the very initial step of evaluation of the business idea, we can reject some ideas that have not much sense from the business perspective. And we also create awareness in the group of business stakeholders that they realize that, aha, so when talking about any changes, we still need to think how it will impact on other people. Yeah. And okay, Christian, even if people do not understand the concept of business process, I don't care. Then I am not using the term business process. But if people from business do not understand what they are doing and how, then Houston, we have a problem.
And
Yeah,
and yeah. So my favorite question is sometimes why? Why do you want to do this? And they say,
Of course.
why should we think about why?
Because I can.
Great idea. Yeah, because we can.
Yeah. And that would be the first step. Yeah. Even without before starting any, business change initiative, the first step, business is requesting something. Ask the stupid question, why are you doing that? What is the expected benefit? Who will benefit? Who? One person or 100? Because sometimes it makes a difference. Yeah. And that is, in my opinion, that is also the role of a kind of business analyst, to create this awareness that business people, they are not just reporting wishful thinking and they expect technology to develop something, but business representatives, business people, that is my understanding, their responsibility is to change, improve business. They know the business. I am just a facilitator. In order to improve the business, we need to select area that is worth improving. That's their responsibility. I am just hoping. Solution will be next. Yeah, there is a long way to think about the solution.
I think this question why is the question which really needs to come first, because the question directly points to the need, and probably more importantly, it points to the rationale. So let's probably go into a perspective of a decision maker who sits in the portfolio management, meaning where the money is. The people who are deciding about the priority of projects, they look after rationals and they look after business cases. And the only thing to figure this out is, as a BA, is that you are asking questions. Why do you need this? Why do you want this? What do you want to achieve? Things like that on a very high level. Then you come to a rational, and then automatically you will come to a kind of a business case, meaning you can be the advocate of the business, and you can be the one who brings this initiative into the portfolio management, and who helps the business to prepare this case, this initiative for coming into the funnel for getting money, for getting a green light for investment. And so if you really go into this part of the strategy analysis, then you always come to the word why. I'm sorry, Christian, you wanted to say something? No, she's gone.
Yeah, we lost her.
Hopefully
Unfortunately.
We lost her. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, hopefully she wasn't shocked by what I said.
She decided that she doesn't like it, so she will just leave.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to add, about why, and often it's much easier to talk to business people talking money. So it's always good to understand the benefit, and calculate benefit and losses or costs. Benefit cost analysis, basic one. But
this is why. Excuse me. This is why I try to put this to club this into a kind of two sides of a coin. You have to ask the question why, you get the rationale, and at the same time, or let's say as a next action, you talk about the business case, which is nothing else than cost and benefit. And so this is kind of very related to each other, this question of why and the cost benefit analysis.
And the other thing, there is something that very it's hard to calculate in money. One thing is risks or possible fines or losses or something, and the other thing just some operational costs. Because if you buy something, it's direct cost, you can calculate it. But for example, if you're talking about automation, some emails, okay, we are reading email, we are sending email. Okay, I will read this email in other system, yeah, or I will receive less emails or more emails. So how to calculate? And first of all, we can calculate easily time multiplied on the hourly wages, the cost of work that people spend 10 minutes every week on reading something. So calculate it in money and you have your losses, for example, or benefit or savings. And other thing, what is interesting that Babok expects us to use some ROI calculation or some other financial instruments, but very often they use their income or possible income or return of investment or something like this. But actually we can use possible losses as income. So avoided risk, avoided losses can be as income calculated. So it's very good calculate in cybersecurity, for example, because cybersecurity is always as a cost, yeah? But when you start calculating the possible losses to the cost of cybersecurity, it's much easier to promote this idea to the business people, just to give them understanding what is going on. Yeah, why should they spend this money? And Rainer,
just a quick answer. I fully support what you say, but I just have one remark. Before you come with the approach to check the time the people need for something and multiply it with the hourly wage or whatever, you should test the water. What do I mean with test the water? Some of the business stakeholders or the decision makers, they will throw this approach from the table. They say, I'm not interested in this. This is they are anywhere here time or anywhere here money. So with this kind of analysis, you don't you will not have success with that. We are interested in strategic advantages. We are interested in satisfaction by the customers, by the people, by the vendors, and things like that. And so before you really calculate the time of the employees multiplied by their hourly wages, you need to test the water. Otherwise, it can become let's say a bad show, because they simply let's say dismount your argumentation in the first 10 seconds.
agree. Yeah, as any other technique, you should really understand what will work with this stakeholder in this context, in this situation. Yeah,
absolutely.
What are you guys referring to? Well, there are many different types of change. There are changes that will support process optimization that can be calculated in money. Yeah. There are changes that aim to support competitive advantage that is not so easily measurable. There are different changes, yeah, and different outcomes. For me, the first thing to understand what we are talking about, if business people are reporting, submitting any change for change, then I need to understand what is the outcome that they want to see. That will give me the context. And you know what is funny? Very often when I am asking this silly question, okay, what do you want to see at the end? They are like, we don't know. We want to optimize the process. Okay, how do you want to have the target process, the to-be ideal state? We don't know. And you know, that's a kind of checkmate, because I am not able to create their expectation. This is something they need to express, what they want to achieve. What is the outcome? What is the goal? I can support, I can facilitate, I can provide some proposals, alternatives, and so on. But this is their job to clearly, measurable, express what they want. In the business term, not solution term. Solution term is not their job.
and yeah, and they can say, okay, but you are a consultant, we hired you. Suggest
no
something.
Problem. That's my job, to ask the proper question. Yeah. Their job is to give me the answers. If they are not able to give the answers, perfect. Then we know that we have a problem. You want to change something, but you don't know what will be the outcome. So the first step, before submitting any changes, we need to understand what we have. And you all know these practices. We need to understand what we have in order to understand how we need to change the existing state, the current state, to improve and to go to the target state. So basically, step by step.
Don't
Yeah,
you afraid
sometimes it's
to don't you afraid
go
to
ahead,
lose a
Alexander.
client? Don't you afraid to lose a client? Because they come to
No.
you with expectation that you will solve all their problems. Yeah, they have some great idea.
No, I am very pragmatic. My role is not to solve the problem. Sorry, that is not my role. My role is to support them in expressing the problem and support them in thinking about the best solution. That's my role. I will
Yeah,
not
yeah,
change
exactly.
their organization.
Well said. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, it's very well said. So what I would like to point out is that let's put the word in the middle, focus on the word value. What they want to get is value, and what they probably cannot do, they cannot build their own value proposition, their own value targets. So they cannot express how much value do I want to gain in what area? So they are uncertain. And meaning, if you help them to build a value proposition to which they can say, yes, this is exactly what I want. Now somebody has written it down. Then you can start to try to make it measurable. Meaning, what is the as is state? What is the to be? What is the desired state? And in which extent do we need to increase the value? Because it goes without saying, if you stay on the same level of value, probably you should use the money for something else. And this conscious interpretation of value, this is something you can achieve if you talk to them. Probably you can start with pain points, but as well you can start with them about gaining additional value. Sometimes value comes from getting rid of pain. Sometimes value comes from gaining new things, and this is exactly our job as BAs to elicit. Now this word comes again, to elicit this from the stakeholders. How can I put something, or how can I build something which creates value for the business? There was an old claim by the IABA, something like helping business to get better outcomes, or something like this. So this is puts it nicely into one sentence, that you help the business to get to better outcomes. This is exactly what we do, I think.
Building
remark,
business
because,
capabilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
One remark that I would like to add, that would be maybe challenging, maybe not, but when thinking about value, we shouldn't focus on stakeholders only. Why? Because the organization, as said, is a kind of system. Every single system exists in a context: market, competitors, technology, laws. If we forget about the context, then you are building perfect value from the internal point of view, and you are losing all the big picture. And that is also something that I believe that a competent business analyst is very valuable person to see such things, because very often what I see, business stakeholders, they exist in a kind of bubble. They see their department, their processes, maybe one competitor or something, and they are not looking, to the, let's say, external view. This is not the area of interest. Now I am BA. I am typically a kind of independent BA, so I have no idea about the organization. I am just coming, looking at the picture and asking stupid questions. And this is actually benefit, because I am asking questions that they do not realize are important. I am asking questions like, who are your competitors? This. What is better in their offer? We don't know. Aha, you don't know, and you want to improve your offer. Okay, so maybe we will start from this point. Yeah, so what I mean, just to summarize, it is important, if you are talking about business value, we need to understand that the business value is composed from different parts. This is my understanding. From the part that is basically the result of the internal operation of organization. That is, of course, something that we can ask the stakeholders about. But this is also a kind of effect of the ecosystem that we are existing in. And the challenge here the ecosystem is evolving all the time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
market is evolving all the time.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
changing.
But if you try to not only to understand or not only to have one stakeholder group, let's say one business department to influence the things, and if you want to go on a broader layer, then again strategy comes into
Yeah.
the game, because the strategy normally covers or no, normally comes from the high level company view, and it's not only addressing the goals of a say separate silos or separate business departments. And if someone from the business approaches you and talks to you about the goals of the business department, or even worse, his personal goals, then the first thing you should do is to check whether this pays on the strategy. If it pays on the strategy, not bad, because then he's exactly doing what he should do. He's supporting the company's strategy, is paying on the strategy. Perfect. But if it doesn't pay on the strategy, then probably you have to go deeper and deeper with your questions and trying to find out what is his agenda. Why does he want to do this? And maybe maybe he wants to achieve things which he hasn't clearly expressed, and you can only come to this root cause after a couple of let's say minutes or even hours before you really understand their agenda.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
also a little bit of maybe even a bit of stakeholder analysis, because again, you perfectly know that we are stakeholders who are a kind of our supporters and opponents, and our stakeholders who have a hidden agenda. Yeah, like they don't want to realize support organization strategy. They want to support their own goals. And if you don't know that, then sorry to say, but all the great business analysis project and then the development project may end in the sad fact that we develop a perfect solution. It is not solving any problem, sorry. So we did a very nice, useless work.
Or it's really solving this a lot of problems, but it doesn't solve or doesn't meet the personal agenda, and it can be just stopped because of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are getting to the end of our podcast, and I should ask this question. It's a very important one, and it's a motto of our conference. What about AI? When AI will be able to support business stakeholders in providing great requirements here without business analysts?
If I may, I will start because I'm laughing. You will see why I'm laughing. You know, that's funny and that's crazy. But what I am observing, we have a really big problem in thinking, analyzing facts, communication. And I think that this is the most important pain point. AIs and so other things, that's a perfect tool. But the tool without thinking would not solve any problem. Yeah, so... And then now, to be seriously, AI, where to put AI? Well, AI can help business stakeholders in expressing their needs and even articulating the needs. And there are actually already solutions for that. We have some algorithms that are analyzing data, and on the basis of data, we can see that, okay, we have a kind of trend, we have a risk, and that could be input for business needs. Yeah. So sorry, but for me, AI is another nice fancy tool, but it's just a tool. Without understanding what we want to achieve, this tool is useless. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, right, Carolina. I think what AI probably could give to some business users. I'm trying to imagine. I was a business user, and then I'm trying to understand the complexity of the problem I have, and then I would put some questions into ChatGPT, and then I look at the answers. What I can get from the answers is inspiration. Inspiration, which makes me further thinking about the problem, probably on other layers with other perspectives and things like that. because what ChatGPT does, it searches the internet and compiles everything and gives you a kind of compilation. And this can lead to an inspiration of my thinking, but it can never replace, let's say, a structured discussion with a good analyst, because he or she can ask questions which could never be asked by an artificial intelligence in this let's say quality. Probably superficial, yes, but not in the quality.
Yeah, also it's a great tool that can help you to find something that you can miss. Yeah, it can help you to give the more complex picture, or remind you about some items that you can miss in the picture. And I think it can be and very useful it can be if it's really integrated in a corporate IT system, because then it will work in the context, so it can provide you some additional information based on the information you have in the system. And nowadays we have a lot of information. Sometimes not structured, sometimes not very useful, but when you analyze them in a proper way, you can get some very interesting suggestions and inspirations, of course.
That is, I think, could be a good application of maybe not even AI, but rather data science, whatever the naming is. Yes, as you observed, we have to deal with a lot of information, and that's a challenge. AI can help us to structure the information, but the decision, that is, maybe I'm wrong, time will tell. But for me, right now, the decision should be made by a person who has the business knowledge and intuition.
And also responsibility.
Yes.
Because any decision, comes with responsibility. So we are safe in this case.
Yes, and yes, perfect last final word is really, Carolina, what you said. Business knowledge is really needed. Yeah, thank you for this.
Okay, then. Just small reminders that every listeners to this podcast can get 20% off with the coupon Afterwork Talk. And we still have some places left at the conference, so feel free to join us. Me, Rainer, Carolina will be speaking there, and we will be talking about a lot of interesting things, among with many other speakers. And thank you very much for this conversation. It was really interesting.
Yeah, really. Thank you
you.
very much. Great hour. Thank you, Carolina, and thank you all for participating. See you May 16th.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very interesting discussion. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.